Welcome back to Let's Start a Blog. This is Lesson 3 with Miss Diamond from Highline School District, Mount Rainier High School. Let's review some of the uses that we have for a blog. Really, with a blog, you can inform, so you give more information to people. You can introduce yourself and introduce your opinions. And you can also write to interest others or to see if they share the same interest. You can be surprised of what you can come up with. Today's goals and objectives will be to number 1, review what a blog is from lesson 2, to start creating our own class blog at googlesblogger.com, and we're going to work on our English in the process. Are you ready? Now, what was a blog again? A blog is essentially a web log, and it allows you to post things, post opinions, comments, information on a web page. The information that you post can be a diary, so it can record your thoughts. It can be a journal, can provide more information on a subject, or it can also be a class project. A blog often includes links to other pages. What was that called again? Let's see if we can remember what that was called, as well as a commentary. And what it was called was, drum roll please, that was a blog roll. So a blog roll is links or bookmarks to other pages. We learned that yesterday or during lesson 2, right? Common blog features again are headlines. So that's the title, as well as a timestamp. So you can always find out when someone posts the information on a blog. Another feature is those permanent links, and permanent links are from blog rolls again. You can also see categories, and categories really help when you're searching online to find out about a blog, as well as you can see searches on a blog and comments. Why are blogs great? Well, they're web-based, so that means that we don't need to download software, and we can update our blogs from any computer. They're really easy to use because we don't need to know anything about programming or HTML or FTP. If you don't know what that is, that's okay because we're working on a blog right now. They're also really interactive, and you're making your own community, and bloggers share information with a large audience, so anyone that searches your blog or your subject even can come up with our blog. Now, we're going to pause here for a moment because why are we doing this? Yes, we're doing this to create a blog for our classroom and for the ELL students, as well as the general learning community. So we could say for all of the Mount Rainier community, as well as our entire community, so the cities that are in our neighborhoods. We're going to get login information from Mrs. Windmill or Ms. Hogan in order to create our blogs, and we're going to start thinking about writing those first web blog posts. So, okay, are you ready? We're going to start planning for our blog. So I want you to brainstorm some ideas on what you can post to the blog or your titles. You're going to remember your purpose and your audience for your blog. So think about who's going to read this and what kind of information do you want to include. And also think about how often that we're going to try and make sure that you can update your post. Okay, so now in thinking about our subject matter, I want you to start thinking about what you're going to name your blog as well as your tagline. And if you're thinking, what's a tagline? We haven't seen that yet. Well, a tagline is a short, really creative phrase that explains what your blog is about. So for an example, if I wanted to name my blog Walking on the Mount, that would be the title of my blog. My tagline, the unofficial blog for new ELL students at Mount Rainier High School. So the tagline is a little phrase that explains exactly what the title is about. Got it? Now, if you're having a little trouble thinking of catchy titles for your blog, I'm going to give you a couple of ideas of places that you can go. You can go to greatquotes.com, so that'll give you quotes from other famous people, because you're going to be pretty famous with this blog too. And you can pick one of those quotes, read through something that you really like, and maybe title that as your blog. You can also go to rhymezone.com. So that's if you want to find words that rhyme with whatever you think that you'd like to write your blog about. And another really good place for a good title is to think of like a movie name that has something to do with what you're writing about. So go to imdb.com. So that's the Internet Movie Database.com. And there you can find out all names of movies and you can pick a movie that you'd like to name your blog and give that as your title. Now, an idea for some photos that you'd like to upload to your blog. You can either, number one, you can make them yourself, of course. So you can take a video camera or the camera that either Mrs. Windmill or Miss Hogan has, and you can take pictures or videos. You can also go to free photo sites like freedigitalphotos.net. You see that URL right there? You can go there and look for really nice photos that you'd like to add. You can also go to www.google.com and, of course, search whatever the title is that you want and then click images and you can find a whole lot of really a lot of great photos to include. You can also just use your computer and make a screenshot. Have you ever seen that button at the top row that says PRT space SC? So that stands for print screen. If you just touch that button and then you hit shift insert in any document or on your blog page, you'll have an exact screenshot of what's on your screen. So a couple of housekeeping things. Now there's an acceptable use policy here at Mount Rainier High School in the district. So make sure that you're doing what you should be. There's some things that we shouldn't look at it online, excuse me. So if you need to be reminded of those things, let's get the acceptable use policy out. Remember the common blog features. So those are words like blog roll and blogosphere. So remember also that you're making posts, blog posts, but you'll also be able to have comments. So people will be able to comment. So that means they'll be able to respond or reply to what you're stating. And another mechanic is we're going to start learning about how to get started with Blogger, which is part of Google. Are you ready? Okay, so now we're going to get started with Blogger. Now, in order to do this, you need to go to www.blogger.com and then you're going to type in the username and password that Mrs. Windmill or Ms. Hogan gives you. And then you're going to click the sign in button. And then you're going to already see the display name. And then you're going to just click new blog button. And then remember that catchy title that you looked up? Then you're going to title your blog. Let's see what that looks like. So here, I have just logged into blogger.com. You can see that at the top here. Blogger.com. I signed in, and then what I would do, as soon as you sign in, this is what comes up. Then you click New Blog. Isn't this easy? It says Create Your Blog Now. And then after we do that, it's going to say, type in a title, as well as our next step would be to type in an address. Now when we type in the address, that is going to tell us exactly where we can go to update this blog, or so the whole world will actually go to whatever address we type in. But let's see here. Here we go. When we type in an address for the blog, we need to click check availability to make sure that that page is not already taken. If it's already taken, then make another name or use another word, and then keep doing that until you find one that's available. Then you're going to choose one of those lovely templates. The templates are like the background for your blog, and you can click on the preview template link just to see what it looks like. And then you're going to click create a blog. There's a link and an orange arrow, and then you just start posting, and you are ready to start. Now, creating a post is a lot like email. You get to preview your text before you post, and since you've already started brainstorming and thinking about what you're going to post, it's a good idea to either write out what you're going to add to your blog before you actually type it in there, or you can just start typing in and then to preview. So have someone look over what you've typed. Now, here's a checklist. Once you have actually entered your text, you should be able to answer yes to all of these questions. Are you ready? So make sure. Now, did your blog entry, so what you wrote in your post, did you stay on one topic? Did you post your entry by the end of the school day on the last school day of the week? Why? Because we want to make sure that we have enough information, right, for the next week. Because someone's going to be responding or replying to what you write. Did you include a title that tells the readers what your entry is about? And does your blog entry include a time and date stamp and your login name as the blogger? And did you set it up so that other people can comment on what you just wrote? Here's like a user comments. You see this? So this is what happens when someone actually starts to reply on what you actually wrote. They have to write their name, maybe their email address, and then a comment. Now, comments are a little bit trickier because right now we concentrate on writing your post, but people, remember, they're going to reply to what you wrote. So there are a couple of types of comments that we like. So we like comments that are about the article or the blog post that you put up. Like if someone says, yes, this was very well written. Or someone that comments about the topic of the article. So here we go. Suppose this person wrote about Bradley Cooper. The first person commented that, well, I liked how you wrote this. This looked really great, not about the topic. The second type of comment was someone that wanted to talk about the topic. So I agree with you. I used to love Bradley Cooper's movies at one point of time, but these days, all he comes out with is trash. So they're saying that, well, I used to like Bradley Cooper, but now the movies that he makes aren't really, that great. And that comment could lead to other comments from other people replying to them or replying to that article. Now, there's one type of comment that we don't want and we don't want to give to other people. That's comments about the blogger. You see this one? It says, if you think Bradley Cooper is ugly, go buy glasses. While you're at it, go buy yourself a brain, too. Now, that person is not talking about the topic. They're not talking about the article. They're turning what the person wrote in their post to say something about them. We don't want to leave those sorts of comments, and we also don't want to receive those. So those comments about the blogger, we don't want. That's probably also part of that whole acceptable use policy too. So remember, now after you have made your post, it's going to be time for you to make comments on your classmates' posts. So you should be able to answer these questions once you've made a comment. So did you comment on at least a couple of blog posts written by other class members? Does your comment offer specific feedback and support? So do you really either say the article or the post is well written and give them maybe suggestions on how to make it better or suggestions on their topic? Did you make sure that you posted these replies sometime in the middle of the school week so they can reply to you? And when you're making those comments, remember people are commenting on your blog post too. So you want to make sure that you reply to them as well.